What is up, you savages? This is the Protect Your Neck podcast, and I'm your host, Dan Tom. Analyst is work you can find over at MMA Junkie as well as OddsCheckerUS.com. But on this here program, the Protect Your Neck podcast, we break down high-level MMA. That's what we're going to do here today tonight. Whenever you're listening to this, hopefully it's before the fight, so I'm recording this early in the wee hours of the morning here in Las Vegas for the UFC Vegas 37, UFC Fight Night 192. UFC Fight Night Smith versus Spahn. So I don't know why Mike Myers is helping with the intro. But yeah, you can go ahead and skip the timestamps for when the breakdown starts. I go from top to bottom. And if you're in more of a rush and want to hear me less, guess I can't blame you. You can always skip to the very end where I recap all my picks and plays again. Same order from top to bottom. Yeah, gonna do some shouts and just touch on a couple topics off the top. Gonna try to keep this expedited. And blow through some things. It's been a busy week. Your boy is out of energy. I've been up. I just turned the last of my assignments. I'm trying to get everything done so I can enjoy this little Life is Beautiful festival, at least one day of it there with my girlfriend. Little one day staycation there, and to treat ourselves and blow off some steam. It's important. It's important. Go do it. Gotta relax. It's important. So that's where my mind's at. Pardon me. I haven't been that very active because it's been so busy this week. That being said, I will make up for some of that here, although try to keep things expedited. Dana White Contender Series happened. Thank you guys. I'm not going to go into that. I just want to thank you guys for grading the winners. A lot to say this week. Put a lot into more than I should for a recap. So I appreciate you guys reading, sharing, all that stuff. In-depth breakdowns in the normal spot. We'll get that when we talk about the breakdowns, I suppose. And two retirements. Carlos Condit and Joseph Benavidez. Of course, Carlos Condit, one of my favorite welterweights. Go watch Carlos Condit versus Hiro Mitsumura. That's my favorite. And Joby One Kenobi, Beefcake Benavidez. Of course, those are Junkie Radio nicknames. So I've interviewed him since back in the day, which is why I became a big fan of Joseph Benavidez. And when I was lucky enough to be on the show and lucky enough to interview Joe, to know that he was such a sweetheart of a person was just meant so much more, as well as his wife, Megan O'Leary, just as sweet in person for what that's worth. And I got to listen to their podcast because I feel like Joe should do a film podcast. I'm just trying to put that in the universe. Because I want more MMA people to do film podcasts, and like maybe in my own mind, like maybe I could do a film podcast with them, even though I suck. Who knows? We'll see. I'm trying to put this out in the universe, but either way, I think Joseph and Megan have their own podcast. So perhaps I should just go listen to that, huh? Yeah, I should do that because I really enjoyed talking to Joe about movies and listening to his opinions. Gonna miss him though, but he seems like too good of a person to be sticking in this game, and yeah, I'm not sad at all that he retired. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm not gonna try to run on this next one, folks, but it would be hypocritical if I didn't bring it up, and I want to bring it up because it's important. It's certainly a hot topic. I know this isn't a topical show. Try to keep things to, the analysis for the most part, but to stay consistent, not be hypocritical, to talk about what's important to me and what I think is important and what's, just permeating amongst the timeline is the trans fighter, I believe it was Alana McLaughlin, the last name, and I believe she fought Celine Provost. In Combate America, so watch the fight. Not going to get into crazy analyzing it because then that'll just lead down to bro science. And we don't need that. Or the science bros, right? And I'm a fan of science, obviously, but I'm also a fan of, take a shot every time Dan Tom says sample size. And scientifically, socially, all the above pertaining to this topic, there's not a large sample size. So, yeah, crazy enough, I'm not going to say anything crazy or spout like I know or opinions. And spoiler alert, folks, I don't know. It is complicated. I don't I'm not going to tell you how to feel because, I'm not going to, cite arguments except for the arguments against hate, which I'm going to touch on and get to here in a second. That's important to me. But as far as so spoiler, I'm not that I ever consider myself on a high horse. I'm not coming up here, guys, on a high horse, telling any of you guys how to feel, because I don't know how to feel. I'll tell you what I don't feel. I don't feel hatred. I've always considered myself gay and LGBTQ friendly. Perhaps this is because not just gays in my a lot of gay people in my family, but a lot of my gay uncles who did the bulk of the babysitting. I was just talking to my mom the other day because we were talking about the movie coming out, Coda. And I was listening to a podcast about the representation podcast in film, and they were doing obviously one about deaf representation in film with Coda. I was talking about like all the family members who like raised me, either my deaf aunties or my gay uncles. And as I psychoanalyze myself, because I believe that these, instead of reactionary and feeling like our opinions are like have to fucking matter and we have to like project them to the world, whether they're hateful ones or not, ignorant ones or not, I feel like these opportunities for these complicated subjects are great times to, well, if it's complicated, why is it complicated? Well, maybe you should learn, Dan. And that's what I plan on doing. And if I can suggest anything to you guys, I would suggest that as well. And I get it, not everybody's wired like me. Like, I'm just have that curious mind. Like, now I want to know more of the history of trans people, history of trans athletes. I'm genuinely curious. If you're not, that's cool. I'm not saying you need to be, but I'm just saying that these are good opportunities to perhaps educate yourself. These are also good opportunities, as I talked about the psychoanalyzing note and left it off hanging for a second there, is that I do feel, if I venture to say, is that, if I will say one thing, opinion-wise, is that I think these are good opportunities to also not just learn about a topic that we are ignorant on, but also perhaps in learning about those topics, you can, if you're open to at least, you can learn about yourself. And I'm learning not just how ignorant I am to as far as trans issues, because I don't have a grasp on a lot in that world, or I guess I'll use the word world there for lack of a better word, but yeah. Sorry, I have some water here. But yeah, it's a good opportunity to, learn about yourself, because what surprised me was just, and I get it, the internet and transphobia, homophobia, all the phobias out there, and the internet, MMA is a rich place for them, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised in that sense. But again, similar to, and why I'd be a hypocrite, because for not bringing it up, but bringing up like the Stop Asian Hate stuff, but similar to my issue with that, or my issue with rewinding even back further, the murder of George Floyd, and when you realized, how many people just could not for the life of them acknowledge what I thought was a well-known fact, FACT, of that, black people are disproportionately murdered by police. I didn't think that was like a crazy thing to know or even assume. And you saw the same stuff with the Asian hate, still at peak levels, by the way, in and out of MMA, mainly out of MMA, obviously, but I know I always bring up the within MMA examples, but it's mainly, it's obviously out. The world that is bigger than MMA, right? More importantly. But within MMA was just so surprising to see. Again, I know it's fighters over martial artists, but I would like to think there's got to be some of that aspect, and if not, I would like to still think there's maybe the human being aspect to stick up for the weaker, the marginalized, the vulnerable. And to see people just not give a shit about the vulnerable, from COVID to Black Lives Matter, to stop Asian hate. Obviously did a number on your boy, and I've talked about that, and I think we've seen my attitude toward the space. Because again, it's not about politics for me. It's just about being a fucking good human being and not being a racist POS. I don't know. Crazy, I know. But seeing the absolute vile hate speech and just not even just hate speech, like threats of violence from randos to fighters and fighters who consider themselves martial artists. This threats of violence to trans people or person was just, it even took me back as someone who expects this shit halfway, right? More than halfway. That a space full of, and this probably applies to everyone from the fighters to fans, right? And everybody in between. A space full of weird and misunderstood individuals who express themselves in the most wild and radical ways. I mean, that is our space, right? Weird and misunderstood individuals who express themselves in the most radical and wild ways. And what those individuals choose to get up in arms about and not to get up in arms about between two consensual human beings, whether it's a kick to the knee or a trans fighter competing. Again, what weird and misunderstood people express themselves in wild ways, what they get up in arms about. And again, I'm not going to pretend to have any answers to tell you how to feel about as far as trans athletes competing in combat sports or MMA in general, to what we saw in Combate with Alana's fight, which she got, if people don't know, she actually got pieced up really bad technique-wise on the feet until landing some hard shots and then eventually getting it to the ground for a win, I believe, in the second round. RNC. But, and I'm not gonna lie, there were some, there were some visuals that, with the commentary injunction are going to be used and put in a way that I get. Okay, I get it. I'm not trying to tell you guys how to feel, but if you really contextualize it in that way of that it did, I don't know, man. Human expression is so important, and the lengths that I see people, at least in my country, going crazy about human expression as it relates to a piece of cloth over your fucking face. I mean, if I can't imagine what it would be like to not even be able to express yourself through your gender and who you fucking are every day, like a trans person has to go through, which is why their suicide rates are off the charts. Page note that. I don't think these people who still can't fathom the cloth over their face or something like that, or vaccine issues, or you pick your fucking issue of that's a hot topic of soup du jour of today. I mean, it's sadly it's 2021, but it's still going to be a long road, I guess, until, God forbid, we start putting ourselves in the perspective of other people, much less, God forbid, a trans person. And I get that it's not easy if you have no grasp of it as but what I do have a grasp of is, back to the suicide note, is as someone with Tourette's, we share a lot of the same stat pages with the LGBTQ and trans community. Now, the trans community is a notch above a lot of us, right? Definitely the Tourette's. I don't want to demean or speak for the rest of the gay communities, but I think we can all agree, anybody who's halfway aware of these things, that and pound for pound, Tourette's is up there, and it's a bit, I'm not trying to fucking demean what I have, but it is a bit loaded in the sense it's a neurological umbrella. So like I've got legit depression and other things, and so do other people. It's a nice little package. It's a little potent punch there. But we, as far as like teenage and child, to suicides, even sadly, to obviously the adult more common ones, we're like top 5, right? Well, trans is top 5 too, but they're like toward the number ones almost, right? Maybe even. I haven't seen any recent numbers or charts up to date, but just go look at the timeline. I mean, look at what people say. Can you really? Is it really that unfathomable? Like, it makes a whole lot of fucking sense, actually, that they're so high on suicide rates. I mean, look at how the world talks about them. Like, I don't know, man. Alana seemed fairly open about her situation in the interviews, and I wanted to hear more of her talk. I would like to hear more trans people, athletes or not, speak about their experience. But instead, like all these other topics, whether it's issues of women, race, etc., it's a bunch of people that are speaking out of their ass that they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't belong to the group. They don't know anybody who fits the group. But they got to make sure their opinion's heard, and you know all their opinion, where they stand. You know, it's like, why don't we let the people that we're talking about tell their story? Why don't we let the people in question tell their story? You know, we're seeing more of that as far as, you know, Hollywood goes, which is finally good. You know, we're seeing more, not just black actors or black story, you know, black story, but like black writers, people actually behind the screen to tell the stories, which is important. Same with Asians, hopefully, are going to start following that suit, it seems, and so on and so forth, right? Like, there's something to that. It shouldn't be too hard to grasp why. Yeah, the people that the source is going to know the best, the people who are the ones in questions. Well, maybe their perspectives are worthwhile, no? And that's who I want to hear from, you know? I'm going to do my best to educate myself. I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to feel, but I just would suggest, if I were to suggest anything, is use this opportunity or these opportunities in general to educate yourself, as I will attempt to do. And in the process, you may learn about yourself, like I said earlier. And perhaps, you know, we can be more informed and less hateful. I don't know. I know it's a crazy ask. That's all I would want to see. That's what I'm working toward with myself. Obviously more the informed, less of the hate. I don't have any hate toward trans people or gay people, but I have a lot of ignorance and a lot I don't know. So I'm going to look to remedy that. And, yeah, sorry that I spent, not sorry, and it wasn't a whole 20 minutes, but you get what I'm saying. I didn't mean to go that long, but I feel like it would be hypocritical for, again, all the other things that I've previously brought up to not bring up this very obvious and what is relevant, not prevalent maybe, but a relevant issue, you know, as far as what's being talked about. And I know I don't have any hard opinions to add to it, and I'm trying to, but I don't know, man. Understanding. Solidarity. One day. All right, folks, we're going to, on that note, 20 minutes, we're going to move on to UFC Vegas 37. UFC Fight Night 192, UFC Smith versus Spann. Sorry about that. All right. Well, actually, you know what we're going to do real quick? Romero and Davis. Davis minus 120. Romero plus 100. Line pretty much flipped. Romero opened the favorite, and I get that the line would flip, and that makes sense. I was initially leaning toward Davis too. He's the more active guy. Deserves to be favored, but basically what swayed me was, I know Romero's old, but he's always been old, and I know he's coming off of a layoff, but like, as we know, layoffs aren't as big of a deal anymore. What interests me is the Bellator factor. There's the unwritten one, which, you know, I can't really write or speculate about publicly, but, you know, there's no drug testing. Just saying that, you know, it's not as strict, right? Just saying. And but more importantly, and more measurably, Bellator non-title fights, non-title main events, I should say, are only 3 rounds, unlike the UFC that does 5. And Yoel Romero is not very consistent, and sometimes he can, you know, since he likes to counter, if he's faced with another fighter who likes to counter or is not giving him a lot, could get a boring fight. But a low output fighter like Davis, is he really one to outscore Romero? And with the judges trending more toward damaging moments rather than pitter-patter stuff or this or that, well, even though Romero's been screwed by a lot of scorecards in the past, I would think this new trend of judges judging where they're actually trying to follow the fucking criteria, I think that benefits Romero, you know, even if he's just bursting Romero, right? Which he always is to an extent because of the freestyle sensibilities, which I wrote, and hopefully I did a decent job to set the people straight, especially with my man Eddie G not gonna be writing as much for a minute, but no, we were just talking about the freestyle and folk style, so I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna focus on this for that breakdown. So I wrote a bit on that, and the differences there, but yeah, basically you're telling me that Romero just has to steal 2 rounds from a low output guy who is not going to probably even try to take him down, and if he does, he's probably not going to get the takedown. Like, all right, I'll take Romero plus money, maybe by decision. I didn't play either of those. They're still not as juicy, you know, as nice numbers as I would like. We'll see. I may sprinkle small, but it's nothing. Sorry, you're wrong, folks. You know, you got to keep it small on that one. You can't really be confident. Nothing really else worth talking about Bellator, no offense. Although I am going to be looking to, actually, I'm curious about that Saul Rogers Joy Karakhanyan fight. That should be good. I think I officially picked Karakhanyan, but I like Saul Rogers' attitude going into this one. I like that he's been training down there at Sanford, so I'm stoked to see what Saul's got, man. And this one's going to be back up at 155, where he garnered a lot of his hype in that Ultimate Fighter series. Granted, he was training for a 45 fight, and Karakhanyan, of course, always a weight jumper, so we'll see with that one. All right. 23, 24, UFC. All right. So we got Anthony Smith minus 172. Ryan Spann, come back on him, plus 144, headlining UFC Vegas 37. Yeah, my main event, I subbed it early yesterday, so it'll be out. I'm late on my shit, sorry. The video's probably up because I did that earlier in the week. Yeah, I took Anthony Smith here, and basically 3rd round is the promised land. Ryan Spann just drops off toward the end of round 2 consistently, and Anthony Smith, as we know, he is a round 3 fighter. Speaking of Yoel Romero, Anthony Smith is a round 3 guy, so I picked him by round 3 submission, though maybe he could get a TKO. He flattens out a tired Spann and just punches instead, but Anthony Smith tends to like to go for the choke from there. But he'll have to be careful and not underestimate Spann's grappling. They both have kind of floaty hips for long guys. It's like they have strong hips when they're grappling, just not when they're wrestling, you know, as far as defending takedowns. Of course, Spann will go to a guillotine a lot more, although I'm not sure Smith will have to worry about it as much because Spann is the more willing shot wrestler of the two, and arguably the more effective one. So I wouldn't be surprised for Spann to do well in the beginning, to get takedowns, to even do damage. But so long as Smith doesn't let Spann do too much damage, so what you have to watch out for is, especially if Smith gets, you know, taken down and goes to that turtle where he hangs out too long, he's too comfortable in. Coming from a guy who loves and is too comfortable from his turtle, by the way. A guy with long arms that can actually hit and seems to be grasping and getting a grasp on his power like Span has recently. I think that could be dangerous. I think that's Span's path, but it's going to have to be within the first 10 minutes. So I sprinkled Smith round 3, plus 825. I sprinkled Smith inside the distance, plus 100, 1 unit, and then quarter unit on that round 3, by the way. I don't like where that total's set at 2.5. It really fucks with that round 3. A lot of stuff's going to be happening right at that point, so it just kind of makes me stay away from the total. If you like Span, then just kick for coverage and stick with the money line, I guess. No clear hedge here for me, at least not that I see. Next fight, yeah, E1 Cute Laba, minus 152 versus Devin Brownback. Come on, Devin. You gotta fight, goddammit. Clark, plus 128. We got David Clark, my favorite quarterman. Come on, Devin. So great. Oh, yeah, add plus 2 HP points. Devin Clark in the corner. Or David Clark card. As much as I love David Clark, as much as, we got love for a stout dude with tick toys. He's got some tick toys there. I got Cute Laba here. Part of me was like, Devin Clark may be underdog, but then I'm like, oh, wait, no, I've never been underdog. I still not a believer, Devin Clark, and I'm not sure between being a wrestler who not even just doesn't do his jiu-jitsu, which was clear as day with that Anthony Smith, that triangle, and that diva. Like, he kind of just told on himself, like, oh, no wonder why you can't meaningfully do damage or much less keep guys down, even if you can take them down. Because that defense and that transition work just showed where his jiu-jitsu was at if the Young Blachowicz fight didn't already back in the day, right? And you compare how far those away were from each other, and you're like, dude, is this guy even working on his jiu-jitsu? So it's just like, yeah, like that's why I've been able to like cash sub props on him all the time. And you know what? I'm playing Cute Laba here. I got him inside the distance at plus 110. However, I used a little bit of a free play on the submission prop because Cute Laba, he does have 2 submissions and they were both omoplatas. I don't know what the fuck the story is. I know that's not likely. I know they were probably against like cans in Moldova. But the fact is, the guy can do that. I'm sure he can just do like a basic ass guillotine choke that Devin Clark's going to give him as soon as he gets hit hard and freaks out and panics like he does. And Cute Laba's been working at Extreme Couture. This is his second camp, so he should be much more well adjusted. It looks like he rented a house here, so he's been down here, not like just stopping off the last 3 weeks. And when I watched this fight, it's Jacoby, and I believe I was on Jacoby that fight. But that was his first fight with Extreme Couture. And you could see some differences in for the positive as far as some of his pacing and his technique. Nothing crazy drastic. But even in his poor performances, even when he has gassed out before, he fights through it. He doesn't quit, which, I can't say the same thing for Clark. Where it's just decision or bust for Clark. And again, even though it is the smaller octagon, judges are wise and not rewarding meaningless takedowns anymore, which is good. Again, I stand against the overcorrection, but doesn't mean I'm against these things in principle. I agree with these things. I agree with the criteria. It's just open for a hell of an interpretation. But yeah, I think they're going to reward the damaging fighter, even if it does make it the distance. So I put 1.5 units on Cute Laba, and I also threw a unit on Cute Laba inside the distance. Probably my most confident, pick. Not even so much the Cute Laba aspect, more probably the Clark portion of this. So not to be a dick, just how I feel. So yeah, that's what I did. Ariana Lipski minus 124, Mandy Bohm plus 106. I picked Lipski, but it's not confident. I didn't research this fight, so yeah, probably an avoid. But the pick is Lipski, avoid. Armin Sarukin minus 820. Christos Yagos plus 570. It's funny, man. I was one of the early people that was super high on Saryukian, and now that everybody seems to have caught on, and now it almost feels like they're overinflating him. Which, my contrarian ass, especially with like analysts I respect, kind of feeling the same way and having their own reasonings for not maybe being as high. And I find myself moving away from Saryukian. No, just kidding. No, I'm gonna wait to see how he develops. I just think it's probably safer to not get too high, not get too low. Especially, it worries me now that everybody's like kind of catching on these trains. These guys that I bump up online. I forget people actually pay attention to my opinion sometimes. Maybe I don't know, but I hope this kid doesn't get cursed with the overinflated line stuff, which is what we're seeing here. My pick is Saryukian, but yeah, no angles for that inflation. All right, Joaquin Buckley minus 205, Antonio Arroyo plus 172. Again, he's just kind of like looks the part. Like with Devin Clark, trains down there at Jackson Wink. I feel like they're about, it's like cosmetic training. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm sure it's really good training down there at Jackson Wink, and a lot of coaches that don't get credit that are good. But it's a lot of these guys just go to their Instagrams, and I just feel like they're just like, they're all about letting you know they're training at Jackson Wink, but it's like, are you guys there for the show or for the go, And I don't know, man. Like, and I get it. A lot of people used to like fucking throw that criticism of Extreme Couture back in the day. Like, I forget who said what or something like, "What do you guys like? Fucking club fighters or some shit?" I don't know. I forget. Yeah. I picked Buckley here. I was thinking about using Buckley in something, but I'm like, ooh, Arroyo's never been knocked out. Yeah, I don't know if Buckley's never got a submission win, so yeah, it could be just a really ugly fight that's closer than it needs to be and closer than the line indicates, but the pick is still Buckley. Up next, I want to use this guy for a parlay piece. I still may, but I don't know with who. Tony Gravely minus 200 and Nate Maness plus 168. I just like Gravely here just because the level of competition and the style and the small cage. This is a fight where he can wrestle and control against the cage, do damage, hopefully against the cage on top, and just bank rounds that way. So I got Gravely. Nicholas Mota minus 320, Cameron Von Camp plus 260. Taking Mota over the short notice replacement, although, hey, short notice replacements could do things, but I'm pretty sure this is that highlighter bust kid, and I'm not really fans of those in general as far as just picking them, so I'll take Mota. Tafon and Chukwi minus 126 versus Mike Rodriguez. Slow Mike minus 108, I think. My vision is going, even though my glasses, that's how tired I am. My vision starts to go. The beautiful joy of TBIs. Yeah. Sorry if I misread that number. God, I'm blinking bad. I gotta get through this. I'm taking in Chukwi. It's funny, man. Like, part of me, it's not because it's like, I don't want to be like one of those dudes that's like, where it's like borderline races where we're just hyping like, oh, look at all the potential. These African fighters, where it's just like, and by the way, I'm excited about African fighters, but I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way. Like when I was talking about the PFL oogling over black athletes on last week's podcast, I meant that as an, I hope people don't, not that anybody complained or accused me of that, but it's like, I'm always worried that it's going to come off racist when really I'm actually citing like the more like the get out racism where it's like, you work out? Hey, I voted for Obama, right? Like that weird reverse ass racism. Like that's what I was citing last week when I cited that. It's like very get out vibes I got from the PFL broadcast on that segment I was citing. And I bring up that point because for Tafon as well as we'll get to Impa, I'm almost like tempted to play these because I feel like, well, one, you are getting a discount, I believe, from where both the lines opened up. Maybe not so much Tafon, maybe opened as even. But I know Impa's, you're getting a discounted price, and I feel like with all the hype that people tend to go like, again, that weird like get out vibe hypes that people put on these African fighters who are still raw and like trying to find their ways. I feel like almost just for the price alone, like that you're catching them on a downtrend, like a buyer's market, and it's like, ooh, I can get them for cheap. Maybe I should do that because I'm picking, spoiler alert, I'm picking both them to win. But part of me, am I doing it just because of the value? Because you got guys like, by the way, like when Dana signed Chidi. I believe Chidi was like born in Texas. Like he's American born, but again, it's that borderline. Dana was just like, I caught myself another Nigerian, I guess, which is real comes off weird plantation owner-esque, which is another reason why, I'm never a fan of the. And I hate it because a lot of people I love and respect do this. I'm not trying to come at you guys, but it's just the reason why I don't like the we talk, whether we're talking about sports. Like, there's that whole, because even though I sucked at sports and combat sports, I fucking did them. I fucking went out there and did them. So it's just like, what the fuck? You out there doing it? No. What is this we shit? You weren't fucking with them, So there's that aspect that annoys me, but then there's also that weird, like, subtle, like, overly excited guy to, I don't know, just like wants to stand next to the very successful guy, or wants to stand next to the, buff athlete, and I get these weird, it's just this weird inclusion of just trying to go off someone else's tailcoat and hard work. Like, I know I'm making all these vast lines and I'm barely half awake, but I just get those vibes when I hear people talk like that. Like, I got myself another Nigerian. Huh? We need Nigerian. These Nigerian fighters. Like, it's a talking point. Like, it's not what. I get it. Like, we can all comment on people where they're from. That's fine. Whatever. I do too. I get it. But like, as far as this, like, I don't know, like justifying a price or analysis wise, like, I feel like there's a lot of that weird kind of like, almost like Get Out like kind of vibes I get whenever these fighters are talked about. So I get it. I'll play into like the thick willies of the world and I'll do my own little shtick or whatever. But like, I'm just talking about like the in generals of like people who do it seriously and don't realize what they're doing stuff. Anyways, the pick is Nchukwi. Wow, Dan, that was a really fucked up breakdown. Nchukwi's back at 205. I like his process, even in a loss. I feel like Rodriguez will have moments, but unless he can, hit the perfect thing, Nchukwi will roll here. We'll see if I play him or not. I don't know. Raquel Pennington minus 130. Penny Keans at plus 108. I took Pennington here and I played her by decision. Basically, even though I'm also Pennington's someone I would try to fake. She's like the John McDessie of like women's bantamweight. She's just always hanging around. But she's deceptively well-rounded and skilled, and even when she was dealing with a lot of injuries, admitted mental stuff and other issues, she still was always a well-rounded fighter who was a tough out. And now she looks like she's actually really caring about training. Looks like in the shape of her life. Heard an interview. It sounds the same. She really did a lot of work on herself that I really appreciate. I really enjoyed the interview with her. I think I don't know if it was Bronstead or was it I don't know, was it Unfiltered? I don't know. I caught an interview with hers. But I like it. I like what I see. I like what I hear. And I like this in the small cage because she's the more willing wrestler, the better grappler, the better and more active clinch fighter, and the more scoring clinch fighter. She traditionally does well in the small cage, dating back to her time in Tough. And I don't like Kianzad's travel, where it looks like she's both traveling to the fight as well as kind of traveling around. Didn't look like she was getting the most consistent training, at least according to her IG. Whereas like where she has her mitt thing with the mitt person, and it's like, oh, I like surprised I got to work with this person today. Like, it's not good if you weren't planning. You mean you weren't planning to work with your mitt, or you just got? Like, I don't know. It didn't came off like a. She's not getting as good of a camp over there, from what it comes off to me. You look at that, she's also, even though she has had improvements, she's still been taken down in her last 3 fights, whereas Pennington scored takedowns in her last 3 fights. I just think she's going to be the more active and scoring fighter in every phase. So I'm going to go Pennington, and they're both durable. It'll probably go to decision too. So you can get a plus 140 if you're not looking to expose yourself chalk wise, but you want action because you're a degenerate and you like plus money. There's always that angle too. All right. Rongju, minus 300. Brandon Jenkins, plus 240. Don't know much about this. Gonna go Rongju over the short notice fighter. Which sucks because I liked Bush. Jesus, Dan phrasing. In that spot too. Boo-hoo. All right. Montel Jackson, minus 670. JP buys plus 490. Yeah, I just, I don't know. Montel Jackson, obviously. I mean, not much to say here, right? Pretty sure JP buys is training out of my backyard there at Shooting Couture. Good luck to him. But the pick is Jackson, although I would not be upset from, JP buys is able to outlast, and, we'll see. We'll see. As I'm just going to be watching Jackson more to see watch his gas tank and his decision making. He's one of those guys that I don't know how long he is for 135 till he has to move up. We'll see. Right. Aaron Blanchfield, minus 390. Sarah Alpar, plus 310. That feels ridiculously wide, but, we'll see. We'll see. I'll take Blanchfield. We'll see what Alpar has. Here we go. That weird fucking... me and my social commentary breakdowns, Dan. Those are popular. Impa Kasan Nikanai, minus 118. Carlston Harris, plus 100. Again, I feel like this is tight, but I also realized Carlston Harris was not the guy I was thinking that he was an Alaska FC guy. Now that I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the same guy. I think I was thinking of the guy who fought Greatest Jewish Fight League. Who was it? Semmelsberger. Yeah, I thought it was the guy who fought him from like the Alaska FC scene. So maybe that's why it's tight. So maybe there's something there, but I'm still gonna pick Impa Kasanganai. Yeah, we'll just see how his game's coming along with his his body work, grappling. Again, he'll snatch a neck and take it back too if it's there, but with no hooks, I guess. But we'll see. Probably just stay away now that I look at it. But the pick is still Impa. Next fight, actually picking a dog, but haven't played him. I probably should, although I think more money's going to come in on Haley Alatang, minus 132. Gustavo Lopez, plus 112. This is an Extreme Couture fighter I am biased on. Gotta state it. Love me some Gus. But we'll see. It's hard. I'm still going to pick Lopez, but you know what kind of scared me? I see Alatang's over there at Fight Ready, man. And he already looked like a tank and just an athletic phenom, which could be enough if he, can avoid getting knocked out. Both guys have been knocked out 3 times. Except Alatang's knockouts happen early, and that's when Gustavo Lopez usually scores his knockouts early. Gustavo's got a wide variety of submissions, including the armbar that accounts for Alatang's lone submission loss, but I'm kind of smelling a guillotine here, which Gustavo Lopez has won fights that way as well because of Alatang's power takedown game. He appears hard to be taken down to take down, so I don't know if Gustavo will be able to find his game there as far as getting his back takes or anything like that. But if Alatang does go for a takedown, he could get his neck snatched. So it's either going to be something opportunistic like that or a knockout. Otherwise, you get a dogfight. Either way, it's still multiple paths for victory for the guy with plus money. I'll take him. Although I admittedly haven't played him, and there's admittedly a little bit of bias in there, right? So, okay. Also biased in the next one, Emily Whitmire, Spitfire Whitmire, minus 130. Hannah, everything's good, plus 108. Gonna go with Whitmire because she's the grappler in the smaller cage, and was not impressed with everything's Goldie. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Whitmire there. By submission. But we will see. All right, how did I do on time there? So I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. 45 minutes. At least I kept it expedited with my weird fucking breakdowns. Get out. Taking Yoel Romero by decision over Phil Davis. In the Bellator main event at UFC, I'm taking Anthony Smith over Ryan Spann, taking Ivan Cutelaba over Devin Brownback. Like, you gotta fight, goddammit. Taking Ariane Lipsky over Bohm, taking Soryukin over Yagos, taking Buckley over Arroyo, taking Gravely over Manass, taking Mota over Van Camp, taking Nchukwi over Rodriguez, taking Pennington over Kian Zad, taking Wrong over Jenkins, taking Jackson over Buys, taking Blanchfield over Alpar, taking Kasanganai over Harris, taking Lopez over Alatang, taking Whitmire over Goldie. Played Cute Lava minus 145, 1.5 units. Pennington straight up money line minus 126, 1.25 units. Played Cute Lava inside the distance plus 110. Pennington by decision, sprinkled and quarter unit plus 140. Smith inside the distance plus 100, a whole unit. Sprinkled on Smith round 3 plus 825. And that's it. I avoided the rest. I may throw Gravely in something for fun, but no parlays here. Sorry for the people looking for that. That's what I got. That's also what's coming out on Odds Checker. They get my best plays in. Like I said, like I called early in the week, it wasn't going to be too heavy. So thank you guys. Hopefully I didn't piss or offend too many people off. Let's all try to be a bit more understanding. I'm trying myself. I know I'm fucking not beyond, my own fucked up shit. Believe me, folks. I'm acknowledging that. I'm trying to. So let's just try to minimize the hate and up the understanding. I love you all, even though I piss off probably most of you. I do love you all and appreciate you greatly. And I do wish you, even if you're not on the same stuff, I do wish you luck on whatever you're picking and playing this week. Always protect your neck.